HaKadosh, Boker Or. I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea on Lag Baomer. We know on Lag Baomer it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch Siman Tav Tzaddik Gimel Siv Bet. We do not say Tachronim. We have Simcha Gedolah. There's a huge Simcha. There's different reasons that were actually brought down. What's the reason for such a Simcha on this day? The Tur says that it was a day that they stopped dying. And therefore, the students of Rabbi Akiva stopped dying. And therefore, it's a Simcha Gedolah. It's based upon the Gemara in Masechet Yevamot, where the Gemara says that there were 12,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. They all died in the same time. They didn't have kavod for each other. The world was desolate until Rabbi Akiva came to Rabotenu in the south, and he taught them Rabbi Meir Balanes, which we just had as Hilulam Pesach Shani, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. All of them, all the students, they died from Pesach until Shavuot. And they say that it was Pesach until Prosa Tzeret, which is 15 days before Shavuot, which is Lamed Dalet Baomer. And therefore, from Lamed Dalet and Omer, they're allowed to come and they're allowed to take haircuts. And that's the Shita of the Shulchan Aruch. The Rama brings down the Shita Maran. Oh, that on Lag Baomer you're allowed to. Why? But since they stopped dying on Lag Baomer, they could already take haircuts on Lag Baomer. The Midrash Rabbi comes and it says, at the end, right, Hamid Shiv'ah, there were 7 students, right? Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar ben Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar, and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. And some people say it's Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechemia, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yosef Rashbi, Chanin ben Chachinai, Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar. Right? That at the end there were 7 students, and not only 5 students, as our Gemara says, but it was actually 7 students at the end. What exactly was such a simcha that they stopped dying? There was nobody else to die. Imagine right now, somebody has a university, yeah, and in the university they come, and because they do all these different terrible things, they start dying out. So you have one group of students, another, every single day they're dying and dying. Imagine 24,000 people dying from Pesach until Lag Baomer, right? How many days? That's 33 days. 33 days, 24,000 people dying. So it means it's just under 1,000 people a day. So imagine, you have around, let's say, 900 people every single day dying. When they all finish out dying, we're going to make a simcha. There's nobody else left. What simcha are you going to make? They stopped dying. There was no more students. Who's going to die? So it doesn't make sense. He says, what is this simcha? There was nobody else to die. So what are you going to make a simcha? And more than that, he says that which they stopped dying is a sibah to stop the avelut. Fine. Let's say you stop the avelut. You don't make it a yom tov. Fine. You're going to stop mourning. So now you're allowed to come, you're allowed to shave, you're allowed to the haircut, fine. Right? You don't have to do avelut anymore. But to make a simcha? Why make a simcha? Why make a yom tov? The Pri Chadash comes and he gives an incredible answer. The Pri Chadash says the simcha is on the Talmidim which he got afterwards, that they didn't die like the first ones. And that's also what's brought down in the Arizal HaKadosh. The reason why it's a yom tov is because that day they were nismechu 5 new Talmidim, and one of them was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and that's why Lag Baomer is on Yom, right? Simchat Tov, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And therefore it comes out that it's not on the old. You're not crying over the old milk. You're making a simcha on the new crop, on the new 5 students. That's happening. But from the words of the Rishonim, they said Paskulamut. It comes out that the simcha is on the fact that they stopped dying. Not because of the new students, but because the old students stopped dying. So according to the Pri Chadash, right, and the Arizal HaKadosh, so then why do we have the simcha then? So it's actually brought down in Masechet Ta'anit, Lo hayut yomim tovim liYisrael ka15 b'Av u'Yom HaKippurim. There was no Yom Tov to Israel like the 15th of Av and Kippur. The Gemara there comes and brings a few different reasons for the simcha on 15 b'Av. There's actually 6 reasons brought down in the Gemara. Rabbi Bar Chana says in Ibn Yochanan, it's the day that they stopped dying in the desert. And there also is the same question. Everybody else died. So if everybody else died, there was nobody else to die. So what simcha is there? So the reason why is actually brought down, right, in the Lashon HaZahav of the Rambam. The Rambam in Pirusha Mishnayot says, "Ubacharu yom 15 b'Av." Why did they choose the 15th of Av? Because there it stopped the Magefa from Eter Midbar on the 40th year. Ki hamavet hayta harbe bechol Tisha, right? Tisha B'Av. Every single year Tisha B'Av, there were thousands and thousands of people dying. Imagine 40 years, and every single year they died on Tisha B'Av, meaning 600,000 Jews that were there had to die throughout the 40 years. So every year they used to die on Tisha B'Av. Everyone used to dig their own pit, their own how do you call it? Their own burial plot, and then they used to sleep inside. In the morning they used to say, "Okay, everybody get up. Whoever's not get up, bury them." So, and they used to die. Thousands of people. Thousands. I think we made the calculation once. It was 15,000 people. Every single Tisha B'Av. Imagine the Nachala list, the Azkara, the Yortzeit list. 15,000 people. Imagine they would have to do Yizkor. They wouldn't finish. 15,000 people every Tisha B'Av would die during the desert. So he comes and he says the last year, they waited until that time. They were certain. What happened? They said, oh, what's going to happen? They're going to die. When they didn't die, right? They said for sure he's not going to kill them anymore. They made a mishteh simcha. They made a very, very big simcha. So it comes out that the Rambam, the simcha is not on the stopping of the death. Because of that, you're not going to come and make a simcha. The simcha is that there's no more charunah. There's no more anger against the Jewish nation. Because since he stopped dying, there's no more charunah. And now we are wanted in front of Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore he comes and he says, before they all died, Bnei Israel, we were in like Nidui. And therefore there was a lot of charunah. As Rashi says, Mishloach Meraglim, right? It's written by Daber. It's not written by Daber, which is Chibah. So he comes and he says, V'yishuv adav v'dibur parim il parim. He says, Vayomer, only after 40 years, when everybody died, then it's Vaydaber Hashem elai lemor, shechazu Yisrael liot retzuyim lifnei Hashem. And then there was taken away the charon af. And therefore he comes and he says, Chamishasar b'av. Now that there's no more charon af, that's why we make a mishneh b'simcha. Meaning we're not making it because they stopped dying. But stopping of dying, we don't. You're not going to make a simcha on that. The simcha is now Hashem's not angry with us. That's why we're happy. We're making a huge simcha. So he comes and he says, now we understand the Lashon Mishnah. Lo hayu yamin tovim, he said, what's the comparison between Tu B'Av and Kippur? Kippur is a day of atonement. It's much bigger than Tu B'Av. Why are you putting them together? And the answer is because Klal Yisrael in the desert, there were two big sins. Chet HaEgel and Chet HaMeraglim. On Yom Kippur, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he accepted the Teshuvah of Moshe Rabbeinu, and we were accepted back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he forgave them. And therefore, the next day we were commanded on the Mishkan, V'asu Mikdash, on the 15th of Av, right? They felt that there was no more anymore Charon Af from the Avon Meraglim, just like the Rambam said. And therefore, there was a day of Simcha on Tu B'Av, because it's just like Kippur on Chet HaEgel. And that's a connection between the two. Rabbi Yehuda Gran and Shira Shirim, he says incredible things, right? Which will explain the greatness of, right, Chamisha Asar B'Av. He comes and he says, every single day we say, Avat Olam Avtanu Hashem Lokenu Chemla Gedola V'Tirachamat Aleinu. What is Chemla? What is exactly Chemla? Well, this is every single day in Shachrit, right before Kriyat Shema. We say Avat Olam Avtanu, or Avar Rabbah, Ashkenazim say. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you loved us a lot. Chemla Gedola, you had a lot of Chemla, a lot of mercy. What is Chemla? He says, what is so great? Right? So he says, V'yitera, Chemla Gedola V'yitera. Says the Gaon, it's only after Charon Af, because when there's Charon Af and now you take away, right, it becomes Chemla. Because Chemla is after the Kaas. Meaning after anger comes this type of a mercy. And that's called Chemla. So therefore says the Gaon, Avar Rabbah Avtanu, Avat Olam Avtanu, is during the time of the Avot HaKadoshim, and when we came out of Mitzrayim. Luchot Rishonot of Matan Torah, and therefore you really loved us. Chemla is the Luchot Shniot, which were given on Yom Kippur, after Chet HaEgel, which were given to us, right, after the Charon Af of Hashem, and the Luchot Shniot were Chemla Gedola V'Tera. Why? Because you actually gave us more in the Luchot Acharonot, more than the Luchot Rishonot, because then we were Zocheh to the Tzivui of the Mishkan, that we were going to have the Shekhinah. So therefore, we can actually understand Chemla is the words Mechila. It's the same words. It's the same, just move around the letters, it becomes Mechila. So it comes out something incredible. After the Tikkun of the Chet, we have a special Chemla from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that Chemla of Teshuvah, that's a Teshuvah after the Chet. So therefore, in the Tefillah of the Yamim Noraim, right, of Yamim Tovim, we also say it. Ata bechatanu mikol ha'amim. Right? You chose us from all the nations. Ahavta otanu v'ratzita banu. Says the Gaon, this is Shalosh Regalim. Ata bechatanu, you chose us on Pesach. Right? There was Yitziat Mitzrayim. Ahavta otanu, you loved us. Shavuot, you gave us a Torah. Right? It's called Da'ava. Ratzita banu, you wanted us. That's Chag HaSukkot. Because there was a ritzui, we were wanted by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. After we did the Teshuvah Mechila of Kippur, now we are wanted. And therefore it comes out that after the Tikkun of the Chet, the Mechila of Kippur, now there's a Chemla Miuchedet of the ritzui of Chag HaSukkot. And that's Chemla Gedola Vitera, it's even greater. And that's why Davka Zeman Simchatenu, the time of our Simcha, is on Sukkot. Because the Chemla is on the ritzui. That's the reason why it's such a Yom Tov. The Yom Tov is of Tu B'Av is because now we are loved by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Beforehand, it was to do with Tisha B'Av, now we're loved. The exact same thing happens on Lag Baomer. Lag Baomer, when the students of Rabbi Akiva passed away, right, the entire world was desolate. There were no more students to die. Right, the entire world was the entire Torah. What's going to happen? Right, there was darkness. Right, imagine right now 24,000 students of the yeshivot disappear. Imagine what's going to happen. The entire Torah Shebal Peh, everything's dependent upon them. Right, imagine, because from the 5 students came everything afterwards. So imagine right now, the Mishnah, Sifra, Sifri, Tosefta, Zohar HaKadosh, everything came from the students, and everything according to Rabbi Akiva. So therefore, right, it was a midat adin. Everything had to be clean. So for sure, the students of Rabbi Akiva were great people. Tanaim, Rabbi Akiva was a rabbi, right? It was also Tikkun HaMidot, but they didn't. Lo nagu kavod ze bezeh. Chas v'shalom, don't think that they were. We don't understand. We think they were, nicknaming each other, fighting each other. No. They didn't give enough kavod to each other. Now, but on this day of Lag Baomer, it was also the Yeshua, was also the Savior. Why was it our salvation? Rabbi Akiva goes to Rabotenu Shebadarom, right? And he starts Tamidim Chadashim. He starts with new students. And now he teaches them Torah Shebal Peh. This was on Lag Baomer. It comes out that the same day that the students died, and therefore there's no more Charon Af. And therefore, basically, you have on the Torah Shebal Peh. From then on is going to come the Chemla Gedola Vitera. The Chemla is a new start, a new beginning of Torah Shebal Peh. After the Charon Af already left, now all of a sudden we're going to have even something that we didn't have beforehand. And that's why the Arizal HaKadosh comes and he says that Lag Baomer was the Rosh Hashanah of Torah Zohar. That until now we weren't able to come and take out the Zohar out in public like that. And therefore it understands why it is Rosh Hashanah for all the Torah Shebal Peh. Because only now that they died, and now it's like Baomer, that there's a new start and there's no more Charon Af. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he says, now I can even give you the Zohar HaKadosh. Now I'm going to give you something even holier. So according to this, we understand also the time of the Simcha Lag Baomer is because we have new students that they got their Simcha, they were ordained to become rabbis, and therefore he comes and he says that all this was done during their days. They stopped dying, but the main thing was that there's no more Charon Af on Israel. So the Arizal HaKadosh comes and he brings down the Lag Baomer is a day that was given to Torah Shebal Peh, a new Torah Shebal Peh. Torah Shebal Peh Chadash. So that's why we come and we go and we go to the Kivarim of the Chamisha Tamidim. Right? But he says, but it's a day of a Simcha of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So this year, think about it. If right now they cannot go to Rashbi because they close Meron, they could still go to the 5 Talmidim. Right now, they could still go to Rabbi Mir Balanes. Right? They could go to all the other students, right, of Rabbi Akiva. Right? That means even though they can't go to Meron, fine, don't go to Meron, but they could go to the other 5 students. Right? You have Rabbi Yochanan HaSandlar, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. Right? You do have still, even if you can't go to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So because of the Chemla Yetera that we have on Lag Baomer, that's the Torah Sod that was revealed to us. For sure, from all the 5 Talmidim, right, there was a Simchat Torah Tzumah, and that's the Chemla Gedolah. But the Yetera is the Chelek of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is Torah Sod, that was given to us on this holy day of Lag Baomer. Lag Baomer is a very holy day. Don't ever think that a person is going to come and it's only going to waste it. It's a day of connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You come, you take the words of the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you learn everything of the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you continue learning. This is a very special day of Lag Baomer, a powerful day to have our tefillot answered. And Bezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should always come and listen to our tefillot, that we should continue growing in Torah and Yirat Shamayim Bezrat Hashem.